Hello, welcome to the NASDAQ market site. With me today, Roberto Reuter, the founder of Gaia Projects, also Robert Reich, the CEO of Gaia Projects, and we've got Brian Dorian, an advisory board member of the company. Welcome. Can't wait to talk to you about all these things. I feel like when we had a little conversation earlier, we were kind of talking about the future. You're giving us a glimpse of the future, of energy. And so, Robert, let's start with you. So just tell me a little bit about Gaia Projects, what it is you're trying to do, and then we'll delve a little deeper.
Gaia Projects is a company that is performing an ICO at the moment. This ICO is just a crowdfunding instrument for bringing out new technologies, disruptive technologies to the market. Because usually you have a missing link between an inventor and an investor. An inventor is an enthusiast, an engineer, brilliant mind, and can develop really great technologies and units that have properties that you haven't seen before. But these units have a prototype status. They can prove the concept, but not more and not less. But inventors usually have a very romantic perception about economy. They expect now when the thing is working and proves the first time that it works, now the money should come in. Now the economy, shiny knights on horses with aluminum cases full of cash should come around and put 50 million on the table.
Right.
That's what they expect.
Yeah, right.
And on the other side, a wealthy investor is a professional. He's not wealthy because he's investing in stupid ideas. He's wealthy because he's investing in ideas that give him a return of invest, where he could calculate a risk and a distribution potential. But that do not fit to an invention that has just a prototype status. Yeah. And that's what we are providing with Gaia Projects, with this ICO. We set up a glass room for a proof of concept. We take one of these incredible devices.
These are all energy devices.
Mostly of them.
Okay.
99% we are talking about energy, heat or electricity.
Okay.
And we take one of these devices, put it in this glass room, put 20 cameras around, and stream it online to all token holders. They could watch it 24/7 for at least 2 weeks. This classroom is equipped with consumers that are connected from a certified body like TÜV or SGS, Bureau Veritas, whoever. And we start these devices, let it run for 2 weeks, and that's the proof of concept that things are working. You can monitor, there are no cables, no hidden anything going in.
Well, you need to make sure something's going to work over time. I mean,
over
that's
time,
kind of the
that's
purpose of
right.
Energy.
And from that moment on, we again put the money on the table to make from this prototype a serial model that works, because you cannot deliver a thing to the customers that will work only for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. So we invest some more engineering to make a serial product out of it so that it could work for 5, 10 or 20 years. Yeah. And from that moment on, a wealthy investor could easily jump in and invest money also in a production or a manufacturing place or distribution rights or whatever, because then he knows that the thing works.
Now, Roberto, so you were early on in the Gaia project. Yeah. So tell me kind of how that all evolved. What gave you the germ of the idea to start this, and then where do you go from here?
Actually, everything started in 2011.
Okay.
I'm one of the founders of the Gaia idea, and I'm one of these men who signed the paper that we start the foundation, at least an association, and we had the idea that out of a classical economic model, you can't create something real new. You have to think out of the box, because the problems never can be solved on the same level how they occurred. And so we started the association in 2011 and became very fast more than 1,000 members. And all of them have a family, more of them have a company, they are educated very well. They have the idea that free energy or alternative energy is all about their mind. And with this energy, with this mind-blowing energy inside of them, we go since 7 or 8 years. We start to enter the 2019. So I'm very proud that this thing started in a very small manner. And I'm also proud that we are now ready to be recognized by the crowd, that we get the chance to bring new things, real mind-blowing new things on the market. As Robert told earlier, the gap between this interest and that interest has to be closed somehow. And from the experience we have, an inventor is not able to close that gap.
Yeah.
So it need another authority. Not that I would like to say we are the only authority, but we have an idea how to do that in real. And that's why I would invent everybody who has a mind-blowing thing
That's right.
to look for us, to join us, and to attend the idea.
Well, and that's how these great ideas go. I mean, of course, this, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, legendary in a garage tinkering with things and, came with Apple Computer, but I'm sure there was a lot of steps along the way. So, Brian, you're an advisory board member. Like, how are you kind of helping put all this together?
So it's been incredible, really, to jump in when this was first brought to my attention. This has been a passion of mine. We were having a discussion at the age of 4. I was trying to figure out how to harness lightning.
Wow.
Right? Because you think about it, there's an incredible amount of power.
So this is kind of wired into your DNA.
Yeah, good pun.
Yeah.
I like that. So it's sort of this fit, and one of the ways that we saw for myself, some of the other realms that I'm involved in philanthropic investments. I'm also part of a DAF, it's a donor advised fund, called the SDG Impact Fund. So tying this together, the SDGs are the UN's goals that said, here are these 17 goals 193 nations signed off on that we need to meet by 2030. And they range from gender equality to number 7, which is energy, right? So all of a sudden, for me, this vessel that can provide incredible tax benefits for companies and donors, right, fits perfectly with a heart mission like this as well, of bringing energy devices onto the market to help then meet these UN goals, specifically number 7.
Okay.
So we have this beautiful pairing of being able to go forward in a very public way of, here are these devices that are available, you can read, you can look on the website, see how they operate. And now we're dovetailing that to actually help realize the UN goal number 7 as well and be part of that change. So bringing this as a synthesis together, that vehicle, this DAF, the SDG Impact Fund, becomes a way for basically this reach to get unfolded in a massive manner. So it mimics it mimics these energy devices, right? It's revolutionary in bringing energy to the public, and in the same way, this charitable philanthropic fund that we're part of helps bring this onto the global scale.
So, Robert, and there is a device that is part of your network. So what can you tell me about that? What does it do? How will it help us live better lives?
Jane, whatever I tell you about this device, you will not believe it. Please go on our webpage, look at the videos.
Tell me the webpage real quick. We'll talk about it again later.
GaiaProjects.org.
Okay, and it's GAIA projects.org.
Correct.
Okay.
And we are talking about a magnet generator.
A magnet generator.
A magnet generator. You start it once, and after that, it runs. And you can take up to the residential unit up to 4, 5, 6 kilowatt of energy out of it.
So it powers a home.
To power the home, to power whatever you need, and it's not stopping. It's producing energy constantly. You do not have to put primary fuel in.
Okay.
We are not talking about a wind generator or a solar generator or oil or anything.
How does it work?
It's a question of engineering. It's a magnetic field. Our whole universe is full of magnetic fields, and the question is how to adapt to that. And we tried to explain that in videos, in 3D videos, but all that, I mean, you have the working sample there on the videos. And this sample we will put in our proof of concept in our glass room. We will let it run 24/7 for 2 weeks. Every token holder could attend and watch, and
so is the magnet generator being used to power anything right now, or is this just kind of a concept?
Anything, and it could power anything up to 5 kilowatt. Our core customers are just private home owners, 1 and 2 family home units, up to 5 kilowatt only. So that is enough to power your oven, your hair dryer, and your television and your fridge. But it's nothing industrial.
And it's just like an isolated, you don't have to plug it into the wall or anything like that. Okay, so I mean, I'm just, it's totally different than what we're used to.
That's the point. We're not talking about a gadget like a flying drone with 4K video. Hey, it's free energy.
Yeah.
And that is huge.
Now, Roberto, so you mentioned earlier that we're kind of at the floppy disk stage in terms of this type of energy.
Yes.
So do you see this kind of project being able to be, mass produced and scaled and eventually power buildings in New York, or?
Definitely, because we are surrounded by energy demand. There's nothing would work without electricity. And I mean, it's more or less also a door opener. And I hope some other inventors jump in with other interesting technologies, because the market is so wide and the perspective for everybody is good enough to jump. It's, I don't know, I'm missing a little bit the words. You know, you can roll that device through every door, in every house, in every region, no matter if it's warm or if it's cold or it's urban or not urban. It's just everywhere. And the idea behind what this could change with us or inside of us, this is empowering. This is driving us.
I think what's very important to understand is we are not talking only about the average American customer who is interested to cut a little bit of his energy bills down because the air condition is very expensive in summer. For example, if we take Africa, we have a huge malaria problem in Africa. And this malaria problem is not a problem of medical cure or pharmaceuticals. The problem is to keep them cool, to have fridges who keep the medicine cool until the moment you need it. So it's a question of energy that we have. It's not a question of...
No,
Well, and we think about,
a
you know,
key.
and you mentioned like lowering your monthly bills. I mean,
course.
energy really, I mean, it has huge economic implications.
Of course.
Global power structure has been
course.
based on this. I mean, so it could really change all of that around. Now, how did you get, Brian, like this device that somebody created, it's a very brilliant person, and take that to investors? Like, how do you bridge that gap?
There's a few ways. At the end of the day, most of it's relational. It's conversational because, as has been shared, there is a little bit of a mind shift that needs to occur, right? We've all been sort of programmed and thought of this is where energy comes from. It comes from a socket in the wall that comes from a grid, which is true. So for an investor to now go, hey, or an individual to go, yes, you can keep doing that. There's also another way. It takes an individual or a company or an entity willing to kind of look at outside the box, as it were, to use that phrase. So a lot of this is obviously being here, getting this more out into the world and known. A lot of it's through the work we'll be doing with the UN and in tandem with this charitable fund. And then the other is inviting people to engage in the discussion. Right, here it is. Here's proof of concept model. Here's the device that's been running for 24 days, 48 days, half a year. If that doesn't convince you, you know, our job really, I wouldn't say is to convince. Our job is to display and invite the discussion.
To show and to show what can actually be done.
Absolutely.
So, Roberto, like, how would you say, like, if we're looking forward in a generation, how will our energy use change?
Well, it's a good question. I believe we don't care about energy anymore. Currently, we do have to care. Where do I get the power from?
Yeah, we just take it for granted. Really, you know, we've got electricity.
Later on, I believe it's not a question of energy where you start your life, where you settle your family, or we can maybe urbanize new city and new areas. We can maybe decentralize the loss of energy. We can maybe just change the entire way of thinking regarding electricity. Many people know that through the massive grid losses, I would say 40 or 50% of the energy is lost before it gets out of the wall. And even if we could reduce that level, we don't have to care for electricity anymore. Electricity is just there.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are taking only care for residential demands. So the big industrial demands is not our business, and there are people who could do that much more better than us. So we are just in this small units area.
Right. Well, it's actually in and of itself is a huge area of energy use.
It is, yeah.
So you travel around a lot, Robert, to look at different devices, what people are doing. Are there, what kind of interesting things are going on? Are there hotbeds in the world of innovation in energy?
It is unbelievable what I've seen. Unbelievable. I mean, an example, like I met a research and development department, small company in Asia, 10, 12 people. They have invented